Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Trainz 2022, Trainz Railroad Simulator. Today we're going to be taking a look at something I glimpsed at a little bit in my last video, the DB&EV. This is the Hudson and Western, another product from Approach Medium, but this is more of a little module. It's one of those like switching modules that you can add to other routes. It's meant to be added to something rather than left alone. However, this particular module was meant to be added to the DB&EV. That's kind of the way it's designed. So I actually do have it attached to the DB&EV right now. I will show that in a moment. But that's not the focus of it. The focus is the route itself, as well as the K&L content that goes with it. K&L Trainz has been pretty good at working with Approach Medium. If they put out a route, K&L typically puts out something that goes along with it. And that holds true for this module. So Approach Medium put this route out, or this module out. K&L made a pack to go with it. So the pack is the Hudson and Western F1, I believe is what they designated it as. The base locomotive looks to be part of the Arcade and Attica pack. The Arcade and Arcadia? Arcade? Something like that. The A&A 280, a heritage operation up in North, I believe? Somewhere up north. But that is the basis, I believe, for the particular locomotive. And then there's some old open platform coaches and some freight cars to go along with it to populate the little module. So as you can see, it is a bit of a seaside town here. Well, not really seaside, but more like a canal or river, maybe, that opens up to the sea later on somewhere down. But it is very much a switching route that also has some interurban stuff going on. It's got this neat little trolley system that runs down the main street here that's pretty cool. A lot of time and effort that goes into these trolley systems. Credit where it is due. I know these overhead rails are an absolute pain to deal with in Trainz. It's one of those things that it's a pain to deal with, and I don't know why Trainz has never made any effort to improve it. However, this is one of those little trolleys that does come with it. Kind of a fun one. Silkus Traction Company. That's a neat little Easter egg. As I said earlier, this module is meant to be attached to the dry book Scopus Valley. It's got a nice size yard over here for your interchange. So trains are meant to come in. Boogity. Right over here. So this is normally the end of the route right here. There's a portal right here with a split track. And as you can see, I've got the DB&EV attached to it already. There is some work involved with that. You will have to know how to do a little bit of scenery work if you want this to look clean. You will have to attach the track and such. You will have to get rid of the portals and all that fun. There is a little bit of a process to attaching this to the route. But it can be done relatively simply. And it does add to the flavor of the DB&EV or the Hudson and Western, depending on which era you want to go with. So that is another thing. The Hudson and Western is very much set in the steam era. Maybe 20s, 30s, 40s, really early 50s. So coal is a big thing. Everything's powered by coal. Got all these ships and whatnot that are all steam ships. This is very much a antiquated time period versus the DB and EV, which is set in more modern times. So you will have to kind of pick an era if you want this to look good. But it can be done. As you can see, I'm still very much working on blending this whole area and making it look decent. Again, there's a lot of work that has to go into it if you're looking to make it decent. The trolley system does run all the way out to here as well. So that's what this track is. It's got a neat little interurban line, I guess you could call it. Which in and of itself adds a really fun note to the route. Gives you the opportunity to have some interurban cars running around, some trolley systems. One drawback that I have found with this route, though, or this module, is sidings and whatnot are not marked. So, to set this route up to run with some AI, maybe fiddling around and such, you're kind of hosed. You have to put in a little bit of work. You have to go around and add different route markers and switch markers, label what your sidings are and such. So that is a downside, but this is one of Approach Medium's earlier models, earlier routes, so can't really fault them for that. Live and learn. But overall, it is very nicely detailed. It's not quite as active as his newer routes. There's not a lot of cars running around on the streets and such. Not a lot of people, not a lot of characters. Which I do think is a little sad. But again, this is one of his older routes, and he has definitely improved a lot since this time. Now there are some places, again, it is still Approach Medium, so it is still very much well done. So we got some scenes like this, got some guys out on the docks, dock workers and such. Guys over the REA here working. And inside the city, there's lots of heavy use of vehicles and some people here, there, and everywhere. Now, some of it can be a little bit repetitious. That can be fixed if one were to get a little creative. Who is it? Trainz Forge has a lot of scenery assets and whatnot that would fit this time period pretty nicely. Different automobiles and whatnot to mix things up. And some freeware, such as these Baldwin AS series, that actually don't look half bad on it if you're looking for some diesel power. We got a little bit of a locomotive servicing facility here. Pick a switcher and leave it there. Let's see. We'll back out to here so that we can kind of see. Yeah, we'll pause it. Let's go into the editor mode so we can zoom out and see what is what we got going on here. So if we zoom out, things are labeled. There are some loading and unloading places. You got Johnson Coal, Coal Barge, General Goods, Cafe, and actually I think that's a person. Never mind. That's the person for the other trolley, Frankie and Cafe. The REA agency. Yeah, that made sense. I know. That's it. I'm tired. But we got the REA here. We got Valley Lumber, General Goods, dock over here, the train station, which I think is really cool. This kind of takes a page out of the White Pass and Yukon as it's set up today, where the railroad actually stops right down on the docks, right next to the big cruise ships. So this makes kind of a cool little scene here. Oil and whatnot over here. Speaking of White Pass, it's a White Pass water tank used. We got a Sopus Valley station. Port of Sopus Station, not a Sopus Valley, but the Gossan Coal Station with sidings for storage for that. Distribution market. So plenty of switching opportunities. And all of it is pretty darn well done. Now that we don't need the switching off or the map up like that. Zoom back in here. Station has a little bit of a runaround. Pull in, run the locomotive around the train. That's kind of nice. I will give fair warning. All these barges and whatnot are consists, so you may struggle a little bit trying to merge this route. It might fight with those consists. I haven't had an issue with it now that I've upgraded to 2022. If you're still playing on Trainz 19 though, you may or may not have issues. I could not for the life of me get this I could not get this module to merge with any route, no matter what I tried. So do bear that in mind. Goodness gracious, though, that volume is loud. Overall, pretty freaking nice, though. There's not as much ambient noises in this route. I think some more ambient sounds could help. Some seagulls, different industry, grinding, groaning. You obviously got the big steamships. Definitely room for improvement on this route. But for what it is still really, really neat. As our long freight of the day comes rolling in. So as I said, there's a K&L pack that is designed for this route. And here we see one of the freight consists coming in. There's a long and a short freight train that I have here that is consisted up already. And then there's the locomotive. Get some time food freight in the K&L pack, which I believe is taken from one of the Strasbourg packs. These look like the Strasbourg freight cars that Strasbourg uses for photo ops and whatnot. So I think these are reskins of those, but they're still pretty good models, and they do fit the era and time period quite nicely. Of course, you'll get a caboose. Hudson and Western caboose. Now we'll go over here and use our passenger train instead for looking at the locomotive, since we got a Baldwin over there idling. It's loud as balls. Detail-wise, I think there's a couple things that we can play with. Obviously, the automatic fireman, pretty common thing on these. Engineer door, fireman door, roof vent. course, we get a mail car. Looks like we don't get to change anything on the mail car. We'll get a baggage combo. Change anything on that. We'll get a regular coach and a saloon lounge business class, which are all done pretty nicely. I'm not particularly fond of the solid white lettering. I think it stands out really, really bad against the subdued dark green and black used. But other than that, it's a pretty darn nice pack. It's absolutely worth picking up, especially if you go for the route. And it goes really nice with the DB and EV, regardless of which era you choose. Even if you choose to update this module to be like a modern era, like the DB and EV, you can use this for part of the scenic operations, the heritage operations, including the coaches. It goes along quite nicely. Use the freight cars for some abandoned equipment or display pieces and such. It goes really, really nice. And of course the sounds are pretty typical K&L, pretty decent. Bell and whistle I like, they're pretty darn good. The chuff sounds are alright. They're nothing particularly fancy that we haven't heard before from K&L, but they're pretty good. Now, most of the route is 15, 20, 25 mile an hour, obviously, because for high speed. And we'll switch to module like this. Lots of opportunities for some fun photo ops in the map. Again, really nicely detailed, especially considering this is one of his earlier routes. So there are some things that could stand to be updated and upgraded. Again, it's not too terribly hard to do if one is inclined to do so themselves. And it provides a great basis. If you've got a route that's set in this time period, this would make an awesome addition to it. But I think that's about it. There's not a whole lot else I can go over, I think. It's not a huge route by any means. Just a well-detailed module. So I definitely recommend checking it out. I believe this one is only available on Approach Medium's website. And obviously the Steam Locomotive pack comes from K&L Trainz. So link in the description for both of those. But definitely go check them out if it floats your boat, or if you've got the DVD. Highly recommend it. It's an awesome little folder to include to your library. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.